Hello beautiful souls and welcome back. Today's tarot and oracle reading will be using the Spellcasting Oracle as well as the Wildwood Tarot. I have absolutely been loving this combination. I find these two decks have really been working well together for me, so you'll be seeing this combination quite a few times. So today, I don't know what we're talking about yet. You probably do because you clicked on this video and saw the title. But let's get a topic of conversation from these oracle cards. See what they have to talk about this week. Yes, I am shuffling really weird. In case you've noticed, I dislocated my thumb earlier. It's okay. I put it back in place, and it happens more often than I care to admit. Just life with chronic illness. So let's see. What do we have to talk about today? Thank you. So we are talking about talent. Let's see, can I get this to focus without a glare? Talent. I love the depiction of this card. It's a dancer or potentially a figure skater or a gymnast, something, along those lines. Something where this person is clearly using their physical talents. But then we also have this depiction of the moon, and the moon is often thought of as, kind of your shadow self. If you look at it astrologically, you have your sun sign and you have your moon sign. And your moon sign is kind of that aspect of yourself that is hidden away. It's not always front and center like your sun sign is, right? And the moon also in tarot really talks about lighting up the shadows. Like a full moon shows what we otherwise cannot see. So when we have this in combination with the word talent, it's almost like it's saying you have all of these talents that you aren't acknowledging. You have talents that you aren't using. You have talents that you aren't practicing, that you aren't tapping into. And I feel like that is a story that applies to so many people. We may focus on one, maybe two talents, and then we kind of push the rest aside. Focus on the one thing that we're good at and ignore the rest. We might also get so caught up in doing something because other people perhaps see a talent in us, and then we don't want to disappoint them. So you go through and you pursue that because that is what you're talented at. It might not be what you're passionate about, but it's what you're talented at. So I feel like with this being a young woman and a dancer, it's also talking a lot about the physical pressure that we put on our bodies and the mental pressure as well. Is that the right way to say it? The way that our mindset and our perception of ourselves can be skewed because of our talent. There's a lot of horror stories in the dance community about eating disorders, body dysmorphia, and just terrible things that a lot of aspiring ballerinas go through I haven't been in the dance community since I was about 18, but the pressure to stay thin, the pressure to just fit the mold of what a ballerina looks like. I actually had to stop doing ballet competitively when I was I think I was 8. I stopped and I went to gymnastics, which is a whole other world of, stress on the body and pressure to conform how you look to fit that certain mold. And I honestly, I couldn't do it. I remember being, I don't even know how old I was, 11, 12, something like that. And I had just done really well in my first series of competitions. I had won some medals, and then I hit puberty and my body started to develop, and all of a sudden my leotard doesn't fit and I'm very uncomfortable with my body and all sorts of things just, happen. And it's almost like young women, might be the same for men, I can't speak for men, but young women are, pressured into keeping their bodies looking like the young girls that they were. And then all of a sudden did it so far out of their control because of puberty and just growing up. And then they're just, forced into this, this mindset of you're not good enough because your body is changing. And it's something that you totally can't control. You don't fit the mold anymore because you've got hips, because you've got boobs, because you've got curves all of a sudden. And it's my exercise hasn't changed, my diet hasn't changed, I don't know why I'm gaining weight. And the answer is, puberty. You're growing, you're getting older. But it's just that pressure that so many of us, not even just dancers, gymnasts, that kind of thing, but so many people in all walks of life faces pressure from the external sources to fit into a mold. And even if you are super talented, if you don't fit that mold, your talent may not be able to shine as brightly as it would otherwise, which is a hard story. So we have the 4 of Vessels, boredom. We have the 3 of Vessels, which is joy. We have the World Tree. I feel like the look on her face is the look of that person who's just totally lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know where to go with this. She might not even see her talent. She might not even see her beauty, her strength, her power. She's caught up in the lies and the manipulation that is present in every aspect of our lives. And she's not able to look past it. If you look, there's just this big, dark, cavernous void behind her. She just doesn't know where to go. And I feel like the answer lies within these 2 cards. We have the 3 of Vessels, the Joy card, and we have the World Tree. And I think it is time to look within that shadow to what you find joy in, to what brings you joy, to what brings you pleasure, to what makes life worth living, right? To what makes life continue. We have, the World Tree, and this symbolizes the changing of seasons, the passing of time. If you don't truly enjoy doing something, then time seems like it takes forever, right? When you're having a bad day, it just seems to drag on forever. And yet when you're having a good time, when you're enjoying what you're doing, when you're having fun, when you're happy, it's like, where did the time go? Like, there's only 24 hours in a day, but how do some days feel like 100 hours and other days feel like a minute? It's about finding the joy in your life and tapping into those talents that bring you joy. We all have talents that we are just, things that you're naturally good at, or things that you have perhaps been forced to practice, which then made you good at it. But those things don't always necessarily bring us joy, Like, say, for example, you might be really good at repairing cars because your father or your mother was a mechanic and you spent a lot of time growing up in that atmosphere. So you learn tips and tricks along the way, and now you're really good at fixing cars. But you might not have that passion. You might not want to fix cars for a living. In fact, you want to be an artist, or you want to be a writer, or, something completely different. You don't want to be out there working with your hands. You want to be inside in a cozy studio, working with your hands there. Or maybe you don't even want to work with your hands. Maybe you're a singer and you want to sing for a living. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that that's what you're destined to do. But if there's something that you're passionate about, you can always develop that talent. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. So even if you haven't mastered it yet, put in the time, put in the effort, and you'll get there. You can start right now. If you have a passion for, say, photography, but you've never taken pictures beyond with your cell phone, get out there, get a camera, get a used camera, get even this is an old phone, but a lot of new phones have wonderful cameras on them. Go take a class. Just go out and practice. Go for a walk and take pictures. It's amazing how much you will improve just by practicing. And when you can shine light on that passion and allow yourself to embrace it and to explore it, it's amazing what that will do for your mental state as well. You were talking earlier about the stress and the pressure that is put on so many young people to meet goals that, what 10-year-old actually knows what they want to do with their life, right? I'm 36 and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. How can you expect a 10-year-old to, right? So as your passions change, your talents can change, right? I consider myself to be a half-decent tarot reader, but that wasn't always the case. When I was 16 and I got my first tarot deck, I sucked at tarot reading. It's just true because I had never done it before. But I had a passion for it. I learned about it. I studied it. And now I can look at a card and tell you a message from just a picture. But I cannot play basketball to save my life. I've always blamed it on the fact that I'm short, but really it's just I have no passion to play basketball. I have no desire to play. So I haven't put the time in and the effort in to learn how to play, right? And perhaps one day I will find that passion, and then at that point I will put in the effort. So figure out what your passion is today in this moment, and how can you nourish that passion? How can you feed that passion and allow it to grow and develop into a talent that you would be very proud to show the world